Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Mortal Kombat 11 video. Now, in today's history of breakdown and analysis, I will be talking about a beloved fan favorite ninja in the series, Smoke. Now, just before we get right to Smoke, we do in fact have a sponsor for today's video. So for today's video is the BenQ Screen Bar Plus e-reading lamp, a handy and extremely useful tool if you are a bit of a night owl. You see, the BenQ Screen Bar is an easy to assemble computer desk lamp, designed for both bookworms and gamers. It is a fantastic tool to have on your setup, especially if you love gaming or reading in those late hours of the day. Gaming in the pitch black isn't too good for your eyes, but fortunately with this gaming light, not only will it take the stress off your eyes, but the light itself is angled in a certain way that it will not be blaring right into your retinas. It's simple, easy, quick to assemble, and functions on just about everything. That includes curved monitors. The screen bar also has an auto dimming system, meaning that it will adjust its brightness as the hours do pass by. It takes up absolutely no space behind your monitor, and this is all powered by a single USB port, so it takes up absolutely no space at all. I can't recommend this product enough, especially when we're all staying in and basically losing concept of time. So once again guys, that is the BenQ Screen Bar Plus. Big thank you to them for reaching out to me regarding this sponsorship, as I do have a tendency to game in the late hours into the early morning. Link for the product will be in the description below, so please do click on it if you're interested. Now without any further ado, let's get on to the video. Now in order for me to talk about Smoke, we will have to go all the way back to the original timeline and talk about when he was first introduced and what has exactly happened to him, as there are a fair few differences from the old timeline and current continuity. Now first things first, who exactly is Smoke? Well, Smoke's real name is in fact Tomáš Svoboda. He is of European descent, having been born in Prague, Czech Republic. Not much is actually known about the early years of Tomáš's life, but unlike most assassins who are typically born into their respective clans, or in one way, shape and form have a relation to them, Tomáš was basically a nobody, while this would all quickly change the day he was kidnapped by the cult of Anenra. Although the details are scarce on this cult, we do know that they worshipped a demon known as an Anenra, and to please their somewhat god, they would sacrifice people in his name, and unfortunately for Tomáš, he would be one of them. But in a rather ironic yet shocking turn of events, upon Tomáš's death, he himself would physically turn into an Anenra, a smoke demon. From here, he would kill the corpse before reverting back to his human form. Upon becoming human once again, Tomáš seemingly lost all memory of who and what he was. Now this origin for Smoke was created in his arcade ladder ending in Mortal Kombat 9, and this point is later reinforced in Mortal Kombat X. So this may in fact strictly be an origin story that has been designed for Smoke's rebooted counterpart, but I definitely feel like it's worth mentioning here, as it does act as a tragic origin story for the character and a way to somewhat explain his powers. Now although the details are not disclosed, we do know that not too long after this point, Tomáš would be recruited by the assassin organization known as the Kuei, and he did surprise many, succeeding in every trial presented before him with his unique abilities and skill. From this point onwards, Tomáš would be given the code name of Smoke. As the years passed by and the bodies stacked up, Smoke's skills would be highly praised by even the Grandmaster of the Kuei, considering him to be one of the best fighters in the clan, and because of this, he would be affiliated with the likes of Bi-Han, Cyrax, Sector, and even Kuei Liang, someone who he would become very close friends with over the next few years. But despite his talents and how tight-knit his group was, this would all fall into disarray. Mortal Kombat 2. You see, during the end of Mortal Kombat 1, a number of different events were unfolding and transpiring within the Kuei. For one, Bi-Han was seemingly killed by the vengeful spirit Scorpion, of which his mantle would fall into the hands of the young Kuei Liang, and the Cyber Initiative was in its early stages. You see, the Grandmaster of the Kuei was enticed by the idea of cybernetic augmentations that now existed, believing that it would benefit the clan by turning them into ruthless killers. Grandmaster had the Cyber Initiative pushed to the forefront, deeming it as the final evolution of the Kuei, and as you would imagine, this pushed away many within the clan, seeing this as inhumane and a way of dulling their senses and instincts. But despite their rather reasonable argument, the Grandmaster would silence their cries, having them all forcibly be converted against their will. Now whilst this was going on, Smoke was training with the young Sub-Zero, wanting him to hone his skill, as Kuei had a vendetta against Shang Tsung, believing that he was equally as guilty as Scorpion for his brother's demise. But in the midst of their training, they would be interrupted by a now cyberized Cyrax and Sector, and a chaotic battle would break out between the two sides, and Smoke and Sub-Zero would try their best to reason with their former allies, but it became very clear that they were nothing more than puppets of the Grandmaster. Realizing that they could not win, and the numbers game was catching up to them, the two would run off. But unfortunately for Smoke, he would be captured and forcibly converted into a cyborg against his will. Mortal Kombat 3. Now, between the events of Mortal Kombat 2 to 3, after the Cyber Initiative took place, the Lin Kuei would align themselves with Outworld moments before Earthrealm's invasion. Now, the reason why this invasion happened in the first place is because Shao Kahn suffered an embarrassing defeat in the second Mortal Kombat game, and because of this he was enraged, as he was continuously being denied claim of Earthrealm, and out of frustration and anger did attack. Now, due to the Lin Kuei now being aligned with Shao Kahn, Smoke was a part of this onslaught and invasion, but upon seeing his friend Sub-Zero and hearing his plea, Smoke's humanity and consciousness came to the forefront. From here he would join the Earthrealm defenders in fighting back against Shao Kahn's horde, even defeating the likes of Cyrax and Sector. But unfortunately for Smoke, he would be captured as a somewhat trophy of war and was deactivated, being confined deep in the depths of Shao Kahn's fortress. Now, Smoke from this point onwards actually remains largely absent from the universe, not being a part of Mortal Kombat 4 and Deadly Alliance. He does, however, make a return in Mortal Kombat Deception. Now, in the 6th installment of the series, the landscape of the universe has drastically changed, with the death of both Shao Kahn and Liu Kang, and due to these open seats of power, this led to many opportunists attempting to claim control, power, and domination across the realm, and one such individual was Bi-Han. Resurrected by Quan Chi's dark magic at the end of Mortal Kombat 1, Bi-Han was now a corrupted, sinister version of the person he once was, and with Quan Chi having his hands full with Scorpion, it gave Noob Saibot free reign. Tired of simply being a servant, he wished to forge an army from the darkness, one under his control and manipulation, but he knew he couldn't do this without any assistance, and this is where Smoke would come into play. With Shao gone and his forces severely weakened, Noob was able to infiltrate the fallen Khan's fortress, to which he then finds Smoke's cybernetic body. Upon finding the relic, Noob saw him as the perfect template and vessel for his plans to come to fruition. You see, Smoke could somewhat be seen as Patient Zero for Noob's cybernetic demon army, so Smoke was physically transformed and altered by Noob to become the perfect servant and vessel for his living nightmare, something that we would see in the following game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. During the final installment of the original timeline, the duo of Noob Smoke make their appearance in Armageddon's Conquest mode, where we do finally see Bi-Han's plans come to fruition. You see, as Taven is exploring the Lin Kuei temple, attempting to reclaim the relics left by his parents for the Battle of Armageddon, he would have an altercation with Sub-Zero, but after exchanging words, the two would come to understand each other. But the action was far from over, as the Lin Kuei temple would be attacked by Noob Smoke, corrupting and transforming anyone they came into contact with. It's here where Taven and Sub-Zero banded together in order to stop the pair, something which they are actually successful in doing. Feeling guilt, remorse, and sadness, Sub-Zero would take in his brother and best friend in the hopes of purging them of their corrupted form, something which he is successful in doing with Smoke. It seems like Noob may be beyond the point of return, as Bi-Han does escape the facility. Smoke's final appearance in the original timeline is during the Battle of Armageddon, where he is on the forces of light. However, due to the nature of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, we learn that pretty much everyone does die, and the final battle is between Shao Kahn and Raiden, a battle which Raiden does lose, as Shao is able to absorb the power of Blade. Just before Raiden is killed, he sends a message to his past self, in turn setting us up for our reboot, Mortal Kombat 9. Now, of course, as mentioned earlier, Smoke's origins in this timeline has been expanded, and we do learn where his powers do derive from, so for the most part, events definitely do transpire in a similar fashion. Smoke appears in the MK2 section of the game, where he's training Kuei Liang to become the new Sub-Zero. Now, unlike the original timeline, Kuei does not have his eyes set on Shang Tsung, instead targeting his vengeance towards Hanzo Hasashi, as it was Scorpion that killed his brother in the first tournament. But to somewhat guarantee their success of tracking down Scorpion, the two would split up in the outskirts of Outworld, and during Smoke's search, he'd be confronted by the likes of an angered Kitana, who didn't welcome the Lin Kuei on Outworld soil, the sorcerer Shang Tsung, and even Reptile. Now, after defeating the sorcerer, he does attempt to interrogate him, but before he's able to get an answer, he would be attacked by his own ally Sector. Now, completely transformed by the Cyber Initiative, Sector was given the mission of tracking down members of the Lin Kuei to forcibly convert them. Understandably, this was something Smoke would fight against, and he would defeat Sector, but he was overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. Things were looking pretty bad for Smoke, as it seemed like his fate was once again sealed. But this is where Raiden would step in, getting visions of the past and Smoke's fate. He would intervene, saving Smoke of his cyberization, as a way of him showing his gratitude, Smoke would align himself with the Earthrealm defenders. But things were far from over. You see, although Smoke was saved in this timeline, it further splinters itself away from the original continuity, and unfortunately in turn, it is Sub-Zero who is cyberized, something Smoke is forced to painfully witness. Smoke is next seen in Jade's chapter, where he's clearly very upset about Sub-Zero's loss. Now because of this, he is rather irrational and does lash out at Jade, as it looks from the outside that Jade has seemingly attacked and incapacitated Kitana, when this is of course Melina. After having some sense smacked into him, Smoke is able to regain his composure and does later participate in Outward's tournament, being eliminated, although we do not know who by. Now again, much like the original timeline, things would transpire in a similar manner. Shao would lose in the second tournament and in turn attack Earthrealm, kicking off the events of Mortal Kombat 3, and Smoke is seen during the invasion as part of Cabal's chapter, as he stumbles across the speedster, having knocked out Cyber Sub-Zero. He rushes to his friend's side and pleads with Raiden to help him save Sub-Zero. The following chapter shows that with some assistance from the special forces, they're able to purge Sub-Zero of the Lin Kuei's influence. So they do learn of Shao Kahn's plan and Quan Chi's Soulnado, something that they are able to stop. But with so much interference going on with this continuity, it continues to splinter away from the original timeline. One of the big events to happen in this timeline is the death of Motaro. Because of his fall at the hands of Raiden, Queen Sindel would be infused with Shang Tsung's life force, which she'd then be sent to chase after and kill the Earthrealm defenders, something she's successful in doing as they are still recovering from an attack by the Lin Kuei. Now sadly, Smoke is amongst the casualties of this onslaught, but his time in the series is far from over, as he does appear during the climax of the game, now being a revenant of the necromancer Quan Chi. So by the end of Mortal Kombat 9, he is in service to him. And one little interesting fact to point out that many might have missed is that Smoke briefly did appear in the Mortal Kombat X comic book series, being part of Quan Chi's ritual to strip Sub-Zero of his cybernetic enhancements and give him a new body. This brings us up to Smoke's final in-game appearance in the Mortal Kombat series, Mortal Kombat X. In MKX, Smoke can be seen as part of Shinnok's invasion. Not too long after Shao's defeat and demise, Quan Chi and Shinnok would spring a surprise attack on Earthrealm, as the fallen Elder God wished to corrupt Earthrealm's life force, that being the Jinsei. Now during this huge massive invasion, the Revenants are given the mission of guarding the outskirts of the Sky Temple, wanting to prevent any interference. And during Shinnok's assault on the keep, the Revenants would be attacked by the special forces led by Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade and Ken Shi. When the actor confronts Smoke, he attempts to reach out to his former friend, but Smoke replies with the following: "Smoke is dead. I am in Nenra," implying the idea that when Smoke died, the person that's now behind the steering wheel is the demon in Nenra, possessing and using his body even as a part of Quan Chi's army. We sadly do not know all of the details, as this is the only bit of exposition we do get from him, but I feel like it's definitely something worth pointing out. Now Smoke / Nenra does battle the actor, but Johnny Cage proves to be a bit too much for Nenra to handle, as he is defeated, and Johnny is able to make it to the Sky Temple, defeat the fallen Elder God, and have him be imprisoned within his own amulet. From this point onwards, the Revenants are still led by Quan Chi, but they do go into hiding, attempting to stay out of sight and bide their time, as they still do wish to release Shinnok, something that they are successful in doing so 25 years later. With some careful planning and deception courtesy of the Kaitin Devourer, they are able to free the fallen Elder God from his amulet, to which they then storm the Sky Temple with incredible success, defeating the special forces, Bo Rai Cho, and even restrain Raiden. It's really here where Shinnok can finally taste his victory, as he slowly corrupts the Jinsei chamber, taking on a new form. Now much like before, the Revenant and Smoke are given the mission of guarding the outside of the Sky Temple, as Shinnok wishes to not be interrupted. As this is going on, Smoke and Liu Kang are given the mission of checking the heaven, but upon returning, they find a Revenant Sindel and Kitana defeated, as the Sky Temple had been infiltrated by Cassie's team. Although the fight isn't seen in its entirety, we do get a fair few snippets in the courtyard, where Smoke is fighting alongside his fellow Revenants, trying to kill Jackie Briggs and Takeda Takahashi. Despite having the numbers game, Cassie and Kung Jin were able to make it to the heart of the Sky Temple and defeat the fallen Elder God. So with no actual master, the Revenants are given free reign to do whatever they wish. So all of the Revenants would travel to the Netherrealm, with Liu Kang and Kitana being their overlord. Although we do not see Smoke here, it is believed that he did follow suit with his fellow Revenants. And this is sadly the last time we do see Smoke in the Mortal Kombat canon, as Smoke doesn't make a cameo in Mortal Kombat 11. One thing I do wish to point out here is the Cyborg unit that is in Mortal Kombat X. Whilst the unit does in fact retain information of Cyrax, Sector, Smoke and Cyber Sub-Zero, the unit isn't actually part of the main canon, as a Cyborg unit doesn't resurface in Mortal Kombat 11, and it is a cybernetic unit that's solely designed to return the Lin Kuei back to its cybernetic glory, so it retains no actual information or personality of Smoke. But yes, that is actually it for this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I do apologize for taking a while to upload a video. I decided to take some time off after doing the Onaga video, but I'm here and back now, so there will be plenty more history of episodes on the way, as well as more Mortal Kombat content on the horizon. So in saying that, what do you think is the fate of Smoke? Do you think he'll come back in a future installment? And the most important question that's kind of on my mind, do you believe that Smoke is really dead and the Nenra is now the host of his body? Please do comment down below. I'm interested to hear what you all have to say, as I myself am a rather big Smoke fan. Now guys, just before we wrap up this video, if possible let's try getting it to about 500 likes, and also do not forget to take that bell, as it will keep you up to date with all the content that will be coming out over the next few weeks. So without any further ado, please do comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I will see you all next time.